Hola, mi gente, Mikey O here, and a very, very, very happy Tuesday to you all. Super excited to be here on another Mikey O Facebook Live with some great community people. Super excited to have with me my friends from Rincon Family Services. I've been working with Rincon Family Services in various capacities for a while. I've emceed their events, I've volunteered some of their stuff, and they've been participants in some of our fundraisers. So super excited to be here with them. It is a wonderful Tuesday evening in Chicago. I hope your day and your week has kicked off great. I've got with me, ladies and gentlemen, the president and CEO of Rincon Family Services, Eddie Borrayo. Make some noise for him, or make some noise like this, okay? Xavier, the CEO of the Green Llama Cafe. You're going to love that conversation about the cafe and all the work that they do over there and all the work that Eddie's done with his book, the Green Llama book. And of course, one of our wonderful program directors over at the Rincon Family Services. I'm going to say Kimberly, and then I'm going to make an attempt at saying her last name without messing it up. So here we go. Scochelas.
That was perfect.
Was it really?
Yep, it was good.
Oh my God. Oh my God. I did it. How's everybody doing this evening?
Good.
Good, wonderful day.
Thank you guys so much for coming on. I had a conversation earlier. I went to the building earlier to Rincon Family Services to drop something off, and I ran into a gentleman. He's coming from the post office down the block on Kedzie there, coming from his restaurant, and his restaurant is over on Irving, right around 5800 Irving, a Cuban restaurant. And I don't know, but I said, well, I'm going to follow this. I think at Rincon family bought me a little bit of luck because I went over to the restaurant. I had an amazing meal. I had an opportunity to kind of promote the gala, and had some really good Cuban food. So I'll tell you, it was great, and it was good being there with him. So anyway, don't forget, I'm going to get you his information for his restaurant in a second, because I've got the information, but I don't have the address now. Make sure I get you guys that. Anyway, had an opportunity to talk to him about the gala. Eddie, talk to us a little bit about Rincon Family Services and the awesome gala that's coming up.
Well, Mikey, first of all, thank you for giving me a day off last week as you became the CEO for Rincon Family Services for one day. How was that experience for you?
It was a great experience, but today when I went in there, the employees didn't even recognize me.
Oh, no. You were not wearing the badge. That's why.
I was gone 2 days, and it was like, excuse me, who are you, sir? We're going to call security on you.
No, thank you, Mikey, for this opportunity to spend some time with you and with your audience here talking about the organization. Well, Rincon is 52 years old. It's been around in the community for 5 decades and 2 years. So a lot of years in the community. It is run by staff members across Chicago, because Rincon is not just in the city of Chicago. We're also in the suburbs. So we're in Berwyn and Cicero. We're also in Kankakee, Illinois. We are doing some programming in Aurora. So we are expanding. And the reason why we're expanding is that there's a big need in the community. Any given year, there's about 1 million individuals in Illinois that have suffered mental health crisis in any period within a 12-month period. So as we think about what is happening in this world, there is a lot of issues as it relates to gun violence. There's a lot of trauma. There is substance use disorders, and organizations such as Rincon are saying presente, that we're here to not only create the workforce of tomorrow, but we're here also to create a dent in addressing this epidemic of behavioral health in our communities. So as part of our initiatives, we are also working with individuals such as Xavier, which you'll get to know a little bit about what the relationship with the Green Llama is with Rincon, but also with Kimberly and the wonderful work she's doing to create the workforce of tomorrow, and where individuals that have lived experience, they could say, hey, I want to make a difference. I want to be a professional. And our School of New Hope will not only be able to train them, but provide them the resources to be able to become a professional and help us address a lot of these social emotional issues that we see in society.
So, I've heard that a couple of times in the last couple of weeks, especially also seeing the flyer today. Kim, explain to me what lived experiences means. What is that term? What does it mean?
Yeah, so when we talk about lived experience, we're just saying that's any individual who themselves has suffered or had a mental health challenge or a substance use challenge. So it's that direct lived experience that then you can really give back and say, you know what, I've been through this. So instead of saying, hey, I can connect you there, I can connect you there, I'm going to get down in that hole with you and I'm going to help you get out together. We're going to do this together. So that's really the main thing is that they're able to come in and make that connection right away, which is so critical when we're talking about treatment. The moment that somebody's wants to get in and get that help, having someone they're able to connect with and say, okay, this person definitely understands where I'm coming from, we're able to keep them in treatment much longer and get them focused. So it's really great.
So, Mikey, if you think about, like, for example, in your lived experience with your recovery, and I know your audience knows how you were able to address the issues with substance use, in this case, alcohol. It's like you're able to tell that story, so you could come to our organization, be trained, and obtain a professional certification to be able to provide these services.
Oh,
So,
wow.
if you want to share a little bit about your experience, then to kind of wrap it out. Like,
Yeah.
and that's what we're looking at.
Yeah. No, and that's why it was interesting to me because, I quit drinking. I believe it's maybe going on 20 months.
It's awesome.
And yeah,
Congratulations.
20
Yeah.
months. Yeah. And so what happened, I stopped drinking uh with uh the whole, dry January thing. The new year, we're going to dry up for the month of January. And I said, I'm just going to go ahead and try this. Anyway, January turned into February, turned into March, turned into April, turned into redirecting my blood pressure, turned into redirecting my
Wow.
sleep, turned into a lot of different things. And a much less irritable person, a much happier person, a more productive person, wide awake, at 6 in the morning, 7 days a week, and functional and ready to go. But I do get people that say to me all the time, where did you go to treatment? I call it the 4 Ds. They whisper. They say, did you get a DUI? Are you going through a divorce? Do you have diabetes? Do you have depression? And I'm like, I no. I just it was time. It was time. I've been putting booze in my body for 48 years, maybe longer. And so yeah, so I get now the lived experience would be basically sharing that experience because I
Hmm.
was part. Is that what you're saying? Like I was a part of it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely. That's the big piece is, really sharing your story to really show that recovery is possible and really show the different life changes it can have. And I think what's so great is everybody's journey looks a little bit different, right? So your Mikey's may look different than somebody else's. So it kind of, you can find somebody you can relate to,
got
right?
it.
So again,
Yeah.
we know everybody goes through their own path, but again, it's just nice to connect with other individuals who've also made that decision, who've also decided to go into recovery and who've also experienced some of those challenges with alcohol or mental health, whatever that may be.
And Eddie and Kim, this isn't just taking the path towards this lived experience. This is a career, right? This is a
Absolutely. Yeah.
certificate. This is a job opportunity. This is taking something that happened to you and sharpening that skill set, getting accredited and certified, and actually you've now fallen into a career.
Hmm.
That is
Correct?
correct. So individuals that have lived experience, they only have to have a GED or a high school
Hmm.
degree. They'll enroll in our program. We'll provide them all the resources, all the trainings, and then this year we're starting off with what is being termed a success coach. So somebody that's going to help them from the time that they enroll in our program all the way until they get placed into a job.
Wow.
So once they become certified, then that certification it's at the same level as somebody that has a bachelor's degree. So
Wow.
the goal is for them to be able to get immersed into the field, feel comfortable, of course, then getting them, if they so wish, to get higher degrees, getting their bachelor's, their master's. We this is a wonderful career path. One, because it is individuals that are they're wanting to give back. And that
Mhm.
is what Rincon is. It is an organization that was founded by individuals that wanted to give back, that have lived experience, that wanted to say, we want to make a difference in our community. And in these 52 years, in every single facility that we're opening, in every community that there is a rincon, some people say it's like you have a rinconcito in every community. It's like if there is a need, there will be a rincon. They'll be able to provide it. But most importantly, we will have community members from that community saying, I want to make a big difference. And that's why this Friday, which is our 52nd anniversary gala, that's what we're celebrating. We're celebrating community coming together to highlight three of our awardees. And let me tell you a little bit of who we are awarding. First one is our Rolando Correa Lifetime Achievement. This is Mr. Marco Jacome. Marco Jacome is just retired after many decades in the field as the president and CEO of Healthcare Alternative System, which is another substance abuse behavioral health provider, doing wonderful jobs, really a pioneer and somebody that's been at the forefront in making behavioral health services, primarily for people of color, available and accessible. The second person is Ivelisse Diaz. Ivelisse Diaz is the founder of the
La escuelita de la bomba.
yes. So again, if we think about behavioral health or treatment and the arts, arts are very important. It's another way of venting and processing emotion. And then the last one is Katy Orozco. Katy Orozco is a pioneer in many areas, very young adult professional, been involved in the community for many years. But what's exciting is she is associated with a small but very thriving and upcoming organization called Urban Warriors, where she with Urban Warriors they created football for all, and this is what is exciting. They made football for young girls from 5 to 12 available, creating a
Wow.
league first of its kind, and parents pay nothing. And some other special coaches are our very own Chicago Red Stars. So professional
Wow.
soccer teams coming to the Villita to provide services. So if you think about what is Rincon and why are we celebrating, we're celebrating Rincon's success, but most importantly, we're celebrating our people. Like the people that are changing and transforming our communities. There are forward thinkers that are inclusive and they're able to leave legacies from the people that have been at the forefront all the way to the new professionals that are coming in that are embarking into new paths. This is what we're celebrating. And this is the partnership we want to continue evolving together.
Yeah, and for those people who've never been to the gala, one of the cool things about it is that first of all, it's an amazing room filled with the people who are working every day in the community, and that organization in that audience, you will find everybody from the lady working the counter at a local restaurant to a police officer to a nurse that's working in the community, all the different people, in addition to the folks that work at Rincon, in addition to the amazing staff at Rincon, you're going to find community people that you know. And the reason they're supporting is because they understand the importance of El Rincon's contributions to the community and the service that are available. So sometimes you'll go to an event and there are people at the event who, and there's nothing wrong with that, who may either not be from the community and or don't really understand the importance of an active role by everybody that's in the community. So it's a party, but it's also a great networking event. I told somebody at the event last year when I emceed it, I said, this is a fundraiser, but this is really a friend raiser because you're seeing this table communicate with this table, communicate with this table, and so growing relationships on how we can also work together to better improve the communities. And you guys now 17 locations, am I right?
16, close to 17. Gage Park's about to open in the next couple of months.
Wow.
So
Wow.
it is so wonderful. It's and this is the legacy of Rafael Paloma Rios, the founding CEO, and then my predecessor Rolando Correa. With their work, we've been able to create the foundation to be where we're at, and where now not only are we providing services, we are, what our tagline is, building spaces and restoring communities. So every single space that we have, we're creating this ambiance of hope and prosperity, and where you're able to come in. If you're looking for treatment, you can find treatment. If you're looking for a possible career path, not only are we training for the professionals of tomorrow, like behavioral health, but we also have programmings in Kankakee and Chicago to work with individuals that are interested in learning the construction trade, to be able to be solar panel installers. So we as an organization are really taking at the helm that concept that anywhere that we're at, we are building that location. We're creating economic like eco zones, and then of course we're transforming that community through partnerships.
Yeah, and what you guys do, I believe it wasn't long ago you only had a couple of locations. So the growth is incredible, right? The reach is incredible. Important to understand that the organization is growing, but it's growing because there's a need. We would love for there to be only one office with two people visiting a week, but
Yeah.
that's not the case. We have a problem. We're addressing it. We're addressing it at a larger scale, and we're trying to put a big umbrella over it, and obviously get a hold of what's happening. So it's very important work.
Yeah, no, and you're right, Mikey. It's like the need is so great. This year, we are pushing towards training more people in a couple area in mental health first aid, and I'll let Kim talk about that. I think everybody should be trained in mental health first aid, and then the other one is Narcan. The opiate crisis is real. In
Big.
1972, this organization was created to address the opiate crisis. That same crisis we're seeing it now. The problem is it's younger. Fentanyl is killing our young people. The violence in the community because of the drug trades or drug wars is killing our community. We see suicide numbers at alarming rates. And it's no longer just one community's problem. This is society's problem. Therefore, all of us together, coming together to create systemic solutions, it is important. I want to kick it back to Kim so she could talk about, similar to CPR. I think we all need to be trained on mental health first aid, not only for adults, but also for youth.
Yeah, and I will tell you, Kim, I mean, I'm excited that you're going to talk about it, because I will tell you that I took it a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
And number one, I'm so glad I took it for many reasons. But interesting that you think you know stuff,
Hmm.
and then it turns out you don't know stuff. It's an amazing class. Please tell them about it, and I will be pushing this hard on all my platforms after today. But please tell them about it.
Yeah, so like Eddie said, if you kind of think of it of CPR, right? We all know what CPR is. That's there so you can help in the moment until professionals get there. And it's kind of the same way with mental health first aid. So how can we offer this support until that individual can get connected to professional services? So it really allows us to see the signs and symptoms that someone may be having a mental health or substance use challenge. So especially in the workplace, right? We can kind of see that, hey, I noticed my coworker is just late a lot this week. That doesn't seem like them. Oh, you know what? They're missing a couple of deadlines. You could just kind of maybe tell by their appearance. So little things like that, just to kind of let you know, hey, I think something's not, something might be off. So how do you approach that conversation? How do you start that conversation? And maybe it ends up not being a challenge, because maybe it's like, my children are sick this week. It's been a lot going on. You're like, great, that makes sense. But hey, I want you to know, if you ever need anything, I'm here. I'm someone you can connect with. Or maybe you start that conversation and you do find that that person is suffering from, different anxiety, maybe a little bit of depression, some substance use challenges, whatever that may be. So again, how do you have those conversations? How do you offer that support? And how do you connect them to professionals? So I think it does a really great job of reducing stigma too. I think we're seeing we're opening more locations too, because people are willing to talk about mental health. Right? People are willing to have those conversations, and we weren't always seeing that. I think the pandemic at least kind of helped with that, that people were willing to have these conversations. So I think just connected that with mental health, first aid, and really having those conversations, really figuring out how can I be a good support to my friends, my family, my coworkers, my neighbors. It's really great. And the other great thing is when Cone Family Services is able to offer it free to any community members who are interested. It is a 6 to 8 hour training, depending on if you were going to do adult mental health first aid, which focuses on you working with other adults. And then youth mental health first aid would be if I wanted to, maybe as a parent, go through it because I have an adolescent between the ages of 12 to 18, since signs and symptoms may look slightly different based on our ages. But again, it's a free training. We do it in person, we do it virtual. We're able to offer it in both English and Spanish. So again, it's a really great opportunity to take advantage of it. It's a free training, so kind of why not, right? And again, it helps us, equips us, because you never know when you may have to be a support to somebody. So again, it gives us those tools and confidence that we're able to have those conversations in a successful and effective way.
Yeah, it's important that the public knows. I mean, thank you for that, because again, I will be pushing this hard. I took it. It was offered at my local school, and I went, and these wonderful women that were running it from Association House. I think I forget who ran it, but it was at a school at my local school. And but it's important that you know that, and I think Kim will agree. It's important that you know that this is an opportunity for you to be just one more tool in the community. It's not going to make you a social worker, a therapist, a psychiatrist, but it's going to give you a set of tools, a set of skills, uh, to just be one more, tool in the community, and almost like another set of eyes that
Hmm.
that we could use from time to time. Because sometimes I've seen this. Well, again, uh, I'm glad I took it because it helped me pick up on some things. And guess what? Not only some things that I saw of others, but saw of yourself, right? So it teaches you to just be a better observant of that. So um, all of this information, if you're a subscriber to it, doesn't matter if you're on my Facebook page or not. You don't have to subscribe to my Facebook page. Just go to my Facebook page. Tomorrow, you're going to see a ton of information. I'm waiting for the materials to come back to me in a simple JPEG form. But tomorrow, you'll see a lot of that on here, as well as the information for the substance abuse. I want to go just for a moment over to my good friend, Xavier. I want to talk for a few minutes a little bit about my new favorite coffee house in the neighborhood called the Green Llama Cafe by North Avenue and Pulaski. Now, Xavier, I know what you're thinking. We had a long conversation on a videotape. Where is the video that you took? Where is here's what happened. Remember when we were talking, the door was open?
Yes.
And we were talking below a vent, right?
Yes.
And all you hear in this video is so. I did not want to air that. We are going to pay you a visit again in about a week.
All right.
We're going to do it right. We're going to do it again. We're going to do it right. But right now is an opportunity for you to just tell everybody about the Green Llama Cafe, what you do, where you're at, and then don't forget to tell them about those amazing chilaquiles.
That's right. Well, thank you for having me on the show. What a pleasure. And thank you again to all the awareness, Kimberly and Eddie. Sometimes we have an amazing relationship with Rincon Family Services. And sometimes, we're trapped in our own little world. And it's just so many great services. Me hearing it the first time that I want to take some of those classes because I think it's so quite important, specifically in a time and age. And that kind of segues into what the Green Llama really represents. The Green Llama was actually created by four great friends, Tony Garitano, Teal, and Lonnie Edwards. And we came together at a time where COVID was right in the heart of it. And we were working with students in Humboldt Park, teaching them about STEM and STEAM education through our hydroponic systems. And along the way in the journey, we created a book called The Green Llama. which is available on Walmart, Barnes and Noble, which is really popular, and obviously on Amazon. That journey actually took us with Rincon Family Services. We were awardees, recipients of the NOF Award, one of the very first social equity pieces in our community there. So proceeds from our coffee goes back to different charities, and we're focusing on some right now on the Chicago Public Schools, geared onto for them to get some free copy of this. Ironically, this book obviously does have a lot of STEM and STEAM, but in the middle of the page, it does also address mental wellness for the little people. And I say why the little people is because they themselves also went through some traumatic stress during COVID time. And I think that's something that is really not talked about because a lot of times it's geared towards older adults or even teenagers, but we forget about the little people. The little people have a lot to say, and sometimes they have a little bit of a harder time, transmitting that information. So one way for us through our book is to really just kind of home in to identify those key identifiers, and then it takes us to our food, right? We were nominated for one of the very best chilaquiles in the city, so that was pretty great to be awarded that. So victory for Humboldt Park, victory for our Rincon Family Services, but don't let that take away from our key ingredient, which is our coffee. We take great pride where our coffee comes from. We like to call it from el pueblo to our community. One of the reasons why coffee tends to be just a little bit costlier than the normal cup of joe, anywhere from 50 cents to 75 cents. And that's because we take great pride knowing that our coffee grains come directly from el pueblo, and then it gets transported to our community. So we're really proud about that initiative. And really, when you think about that northwest side corner, it's becoming that rose that grows in the concrete, right? Where people initially start to see it grow, they walk around, and I think now people are starting to realize that there's more roses growing in that corner. And obviously one great attribute because of that is our Rincon Family Services. There's always amazing activities that are happening, and it just so happens that we happen to have a really great coffee spot. And right now, we hold that title for the north side, having some amazing chilaquiles. So thank you for having us on the show.
No, I appreciate you being here. I want to just tell the public also. So the Green Llama Cafe is a cafe. Lots of great coffee. You guys know how I feel about coffee houses, right? I want to go to a coffee house where I feel like I'm in the living room with my family. That's why when you see me post about a coffee house, that's the feeling I got. I walked in there and the folks there are treating me like family. I'm not feeling like, like I'm a customer. So thank you for that hospitality. That's number one. Number two, for those of you that are watching, they have an amazing meeting room. So maybe you have your meeting there. Maybe you organize an opportunity to have, maybe your local school council meeting, or maybe you've got a support meeting or whatever. They've got a beautiful room there that you can have like your own little private conference room with, guess what? Amazing coffee and chilaquiles. So they're located at 3944 West North Avenue. Their website is right here. Support the Green Llama Cafe, support their initiatives. Use the room. Call them, book the room. And it's a beautiful space. So the gala, this Friday, the gala takes place at the Allegra Banquet Hall in Schiller Park. Again, the flyer is on my page. I'll be throwing it up here in just a second. But it's a gala. It's a party. Get dressed up. Come on out. There'll be a social hour followed by a presentation, followed by the awards, and followed then by the amazing Jimmy Conga, who happens to be an employee of Rincon Family Services. But for those of you who don't know or do know, Jimmy Conga is one of Chicago's #1 percussionists and Latin band leaders. So it's kind of cool that the band leader actually works at Rincon Family Services and has his foot right in the community at many levels. So it's going to be a great evening. 100% of the money that you spend that night there supports directly all the programming. And of course, there'll be an auction and all kinds of cool stuff happening. So it's a party. Now, sometimes I get into this little thing with my friends. They're like, well, I'm going to go. Well, listen, if you go out on a Friday night in Chicago and you go to dinner, okay, that's $60 to $75. If you got a band, if you're going to go see a band afterwards and you pay a cover, that could be another $15, $20. So it's the exact same thing. It's not that much different, except this time your money is going to support a wonderful organization that's been doing great work and continues to do great work here. I want to just bring this question up here really quick. Edna NV says, would love to talk to folks about recent mental health and behavioral report focus on expecting families and those with children under 8 and the lack of service for this population. Let me say that again. She wants us to, or she would love folks to have a conversation about the recent mental and behavior report focused on expecting families and those with children under 8 and the lack of service for this population.
Well, that goes again what we were talking about, the just the lack of specialists. And this is where, as an organization, we are looking at some of these needs and creating initiatives or creating partnerships to be able to address it. Similar to the needs for geriatric mental health, there's very few. So for us as an organization, we are looking at developing relationships with the universities. So for example, right now we have a evolving relationship with a university and la Universidad Iberoamericana de la Ciudad de México. So La Ibero is like the Harvard of Mexico. So it's a very prestige. So we're going to have two of the professionals, deans of psychology. They'll be at the gala talking about and celebrating with us, because now we're at year 3. 3 years ago, there was a big need of providing services for immigrant women. So what we decided to do is very similar to what we were talking about with the peers, talking about even with the Lama. When you have people they come together, they break bread or have a nice cup of coffee, the likelihood of them engaging and developing those relationships, it's stronger. So we developed that relationship with Libero. So Libero has a book called Salud Emocional para la Mujer Inmigrante that they created along with Loyola University. So this is a peer-to-peer training model for women. So it's an 11-week course in where they address many topics: the stress of being a woman in the U.S., not knowing the language, how to engage and navigate the school system, how to work with like your dysfunctional husband or family member, what to do with children that are not behaving in school. And then there's other topics. So these women come together and process. Again, this whole concept, let's create community, let's create the systems of support, because it takes anywhere from 10 to 12 years to graduate a master's level clinician and then having them competent. But if we're able to train community to be able to respond and then create that interest to create that professionalism, what we're doing is we're transforming communities from thinking that they're deficit and instead creating more of a positive mindset, creating healthiness or wellness within the communities. So now these women are being deployed, and now they're helping other women that have similar life experience to overcome or navigate these systems. And again, having spaces, safe spaces, such as the Green Llama Cafe, where they're able to have good food, be able to have a safe space that they could have meetings such as these. And this is where the relationships with the faith-based, with other nonprofits, with the schools, that we're able to bring these resources and empower the community as a whole, we feel we may make a dent addressing some of these issues. Not to forget that we need to train professional staff that are licensed and certified to address a lot of the more acute and severe cases.
Love it. Love it, love it, love it. My good friend Jack Velasquez Jr. says, I would like more info. Thank you for all you do. You don't have to face your challenges alone. And that is 100% correct. You actually don't. The thing is that I think, Jack, you and I both know, Latino men, we ain't talking. We're not going to open up. We're not talking about certain things, right? We're not going to bow down to the idea that we may be depressed. We're not going to bow down to the idea that we may be anxious. That maybe it's kind of, a good idea maybe not to drink for a while. Nobody's asking you to change your life overnight. But if there are things that are happening, it's time to address them. This is 2024, 2025. And we're watching our young Latino brothers and sisters, right, die alone in most cases. Suicide is real, and depression is real. And depression does not look like all the time, does not look like, a person laying in bed, not talking, doesn't look like that all the time. There are people that go to work every day that, appear to be functioning normal that are depressed. So thanks, Jack, for jumping in. I definitely appreciate it. And then down here, we've got Renee Jackson, who says, very important session tonight. If you need to speak to someone, please do. There is nothing wrong with that.
That is correct, and that's the importance of taking courses and trainings that are free and available in your language, like mental health first aid, and where you're able to pick up those subtle little things that somebody is not that well that day, that we could just say, hey, are you okay? Can I get you a cup of water? Do you want to go have coffee during lunch? That we could check in on our loved ones, because when you have this dichotomy of thought and where everything is black and white, and you go down the deep hole, we know it's getting dark outside. So these changes of light does affect individuals with seasonal affective disorders. So these are things that if we have in our pocketbook available and ready, then we'll be able to save many lives.
Alonso Zaragoza, the stigma about seeking mental health for men is such a problem, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Kim, thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. We see obviously more women go into the field in the first place, professionals. We see women go into treatment or get therapy more so than men, especially too in the Latinx community. As we said, like mental health just isn't talked about as much. So again, I think going to these free community trainings really helps start the conversations, reduces those stigma. And again, if you're going within your community, then you're going with a group that may also be your peers too, right? So it's a little bit easier to go, maybe feel a little bit more comfortable going. And the great thing about Rincon is we're constantly having free trainings to the community. That's really important part of our mission is that education piece. So again, beyond mental health first aid, like Eddie said, we have the Narcan training because again, unfortunately, you never know when you may have to use that training. We provide trainings on topics such as suicide. How do you have those difficult conversations with individuals in the community or your loved ones? And my team also puts together different workshops. So we also go out to the community and try to see, what do you guys need? What do you guys want us to talk about? What are you seeing in your community? Help us so we know what's going to work for you guys. So I think going in and really getting that feedback, we're able to create those workshops that mean something to the community and then they're willing to come out. So again, just we have to keep putting those messages out those and those opportunities. So hopefully reduce that stigma. So we do see equality in people going to get the services in men and women, young adolescents, adults, anybody, right? We want to make sure that's open. So again, take advantage of the free trainings and opportunities that come your way because you never know, again, when you may have to use those conversations. Or like you said, Mikey, maybe you see something in yourself and you're like, hey, I'm kind of putting some of these pieces together. Maybe I could benefit in some of these additional resources as well.
Absolutely.
Mikey, just to add there, it's like in the last about year and a half, January 1st of 2023, Parents for Peace and Justice, an organization has been around for 10 years, became part of Rincon Family Services, and where we're working with loved ones that have been victims of violence that we see in the community. And that's another community that we're starting to engage and provide support because there's so much loss. So now we have a space and we're trying to expand it into all of our locations where family members that felt the loss because of gun violence or just violence, that we're able to provide those support. And again, being for those that are interested in paying it forward, providing them the training so they could provide support to other ones, and creating this sense of wellness as a whole, education, where community members are able to respond together along with the organization.
Yeah, and I will tell you that I have seen the work of Parents for Peace and Justice. I support them any way that I can, and the work that they do is important. And unfortunately, again, that's one of those things we wish we did not have to have an organization or a group that we wish we didn't have to have. Unfortunately, We do, and it's an important work. Important group that does important work, but sadly, again, I wish we didn't need them. There is one thing that I wanted to talk about for a moment. We brought it up when I was there as the CEO for the day. For those of you who don't know, I was the CEO for the day at Rincon Family Services last week, and then I walked in there today and nobody knew who I was. But anyway, I wanted to touch for a moment based on the Ozzie Guillen Foundation.
That's right.
So Xavier, you want to talk about it, because it's that is something that you brought.
Wait, was I not supposed to say anything?
Huh?
Was I not? Was that a secret?
Oh no! I think that we're excited because that's another event that it's a brainchild of Xavier Hernandez, our dear friend, along with the Ozzie Senior and Ozzie Junior, of course, the Ozzie Guillen Foundation. So Xavier, take it away.
Absolutely. Yeah. So we assist the Ozzie Guillen Foundation. We do a lot of volunteering with them. Another amazing organization, right? 2005 World Series Chicago White Sox coach. And we're happy to also announce that we're partnering up with Rincon Family Services, and we have an amazing golf outing that's taking place.
The first one.
And
wow.
Can I share this? We sold out the foursome, right? But the dinner's still available, and there's going to be more information coming out in the next 24 hours. So the Ozzie Guillen Foundation is teaming up with Rincon Family Services, and this is where a great way where athletes come together in support of all the amazing attributes and services that the Rincon has to offer. Because as everybody in this panel has said it, this is just not an individual thing. This is our community, right? We're talking about, and it's wonderful to see, the coach coming in to making sure that he also brings awareness on a larger scale, right? Because this is just not something that's happening to individual families, but to all of us in our community. So, this is a wonderful partnership. Obviously, we will see a lot of them at the gala, but then we will definitely see you on September the 30th on the golf course.
Oh, love it. You know that you guys need to know this about me, Kim. I am no longer welcome like at 5 golf outings. Yeah. They say because I'm hyper. Golf does not, it calms everybody else down. I'm just too hyper. I'm the guy that's kind of driving around with the golf cart, staring at it, smoking a cigar and doing everything but playing golf. So my buddies say you're no longer welcome. I'm excited, man. We had this conversation. This has been a powerful conversation. This is definitely one that's going to get archived. So much great information. Let's do a quick roundabout here real quick and hit them from top to bottom. Eddie, tell us again about this Friday.
Well, September 20th, 6 p.m. at Allegra Banquet Hall in Schiller Park. It is our 52nd anniversary, honoring 3 great people. Marco Jacome is for a lifetime. Ivaliz Diaz, the Hilda Frontani Community Award, and Katia Orozco for our Youth Award. So 3 great people, a lot of wonderful people that is going to come from all over Illinois to stay presente and to continue helping Rincon do the wonderful work that we do year in and year out.
Kim, tell them one more time about all the wonderful training you guys are doing there, specifically the recently announced substance abuse counselor program.
Yeah, so like we've been talking about, we have the mental health first aid, Narcan, specialty topic workshops, but in addition to that, we provide 2 career paths to behavioral health certifications. So we have our CADC, so that's for any individuals who want to go into substance use counseling. So that's a great alternative that may be going the bachelor's or master's route, right? You're able to come in and help those in need. And then in addition, we have a peer support program. So that goes back to individuals who have lived experience in mental health or substance use, who now want to give back into the community and also make that impact that somebody made probably on them during their process, and really show, again, validate the individuals going through it and show I've been through this. So when I say you can do it, I know you can do it because I've been there and I've done that. So I truly understand what you're going through. So those great opportunities. And if you want to talk more, you can hang out with me Friday night too at the event, and we could talk more about it.
Oh, one thing, Mikey, we also give as an organization Narcan. So if you want your Narcan supply, it's free. Just come out to the site, get a quick training on how to use it, and it's available.
Awesome. Awesome. Xavier, tell us one more time about the Green Llama Cafe.
Absolutely. Green Llama Cafe, located at 3944 on North Avenue in Chicago. We're super excited having one of the very best chilaquiles on the north side and a really great cup of Joe. And because Mikey O said so. And last but not least, we are really happy. We understand that families go through budgeting and financing crisis sometimes. So we are offering free birthday parties for CPS schools and schools in the Humboldt Park area. If they want to host their child or daughters or sons' birthday party at our facility, we have the space. And we could also talk about logistics. Purchases of just our food inside and our coffee is all we're asking for. But we are looking to offer that space for free to our working families in our community so they can host their birthday parties at our facility.
Love that. Love that. Love that. Here's another quick thing about the Green Llama Cafe. Read that message. The best fresh squeezed orange juice I've ever had.
All right. Thank you, Angie.
All right. All right. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Michael Kendall, Mikey O. MikeyOShow.com. Always super excited to bring you the best of our community, especially when it has to do with, mental health and wellness. So thank you for listening. Thank you for being a part of this. Support your local nonprofits. Support your small businesses. And again, Rincon Family Services, all that we discuss can be repeated in person by either calling or going on their website. We hope to see you at the gala this Friday. I'll be teaching the Mambo two-step. All right. So
nice.
Come on out Friday and learn the Mambo two-step. All right, mi gente. Love you guys. We'll see you. Thank you so much for this awesome, awesome panel. You guys have an amazing night. Gracias.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.